I'm not happy.
I don't need Elizabeth Warren or the government giving away my money.
Calling Mike Bloomberg an oligarch has implications in this country that I think are unfair and unreasonable.
I care. That's it.
Makes you think of some rich person who got their money off of oil in Russia, who's taking advantage of a broken and dysfunctional system.
Bernie Sanders saying, the country's corrupt, our system's corrupt. Be careful about that language, Bernie. You know, be careful.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Just forget about the evidence.
You idiot! Combination. Waldorf Nation. What's up, everybody? It's Thursday. We got a show for you today. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. We're gonna make fun of Trump, obviously, but of course. I know, right?
Can't let that happen.
No, but we will. We're gonna have fun with that. Including interesting lawsuit against Donald Trump's lawyer. One of the few remaining lawyers, which might explain why he's working for Donald Trump. That's fun. Should be interesting. We also have more information about the, let's just say the post-indictment party that was held in Florida. Turns out Donald Trump went cheap. Super cheap. We have Mike Pillow. Of course, we got a Pillow Talk segment here. It's going to be fun and interesting. We have Fox News and a deeply transphobic headline that got removed. But is that enough? Fun. We're going to talk about that. And then Republicans touting this alleged audio tape of Joe Biden taking bribes from a Ukrainian official, and then having to admit, oh, actually, we don't really know if that's real. Oops. So, yeah. Fun, as always. So, it's going to be an interesting show. Right off the top, I want to give a little bit of a correction. Yesterday, there was a story that I started out with the reporter. I incorrectly called this reporter Sophie Alexander, I believe, a BBC reporter. She's actually with Sky News. So my bad. The fake news. It's all fake. The fake mainstream liberal media getting it wrong again. Yeah, she was a Sky News reporter. Oops. Apologies, but I just wanted to correct the record on that. Yes, I don't know why I called her a BBC reporter. Again, both UK outlets, Sky News and BBC, but nonetheless, I have to be correct. So, anyway, yeah, interesting day. So let's start out with Donald Trump's lawyer. But before we do, please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Very important that you do so. With that, why don't we dive into it? Jose Kelly first says, at least you're honest. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to be honest. I effed up on that one. And sometimes that's going to happen, considering how it's just me. I don't have editors or anything like that. And so we only have the BBC, according to you Americans. Okay, yeah, true. Not very well versed in other countries' media sources, to be fair, and that's my mistake. That's our mistake. Little Amerocentric over here. Apologies for that. I really should broaden my overseas media diet. I'll get to it. But anyway, let's go in. Let's go into the story. You're gonna love this. This is great. I'm just teasing. I know. I know. In my copious amounts of free time, I wish. Phew. Okay. Anyway, one of Donald Trump's remaining members of his legal team is also in a little bit of a legal problem. Obviously not as severe as his client, but nonetheless, he's getting sued. According to a report in the New York Law Journal, Todd Blanche, formerly of the law firm Cadwalader, Wickersham, and Taft, I don't know why I say it like that, are being sued for malpractice. So the details of the suit are both hilarious and might explain why Blanche decided to work with Donald Trump, to work for Trump. Okay, so again, there's some twists and turns here. So Blanche is being sued by twin brothers, who got into finance. Okay, already fun. These brothers are Adam and Daniel Kaplan. And they allege that Blanche and Cadwalader had forged their signatures on a retainer agreement and severely overbilled them while they were the subject of a U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission probe. So now, obviously, you're going to retain legal counsel, you know, if you've done something wrong, basically. If you're, charged with a crime or indicted or things like that, or under investigation, yeah, you're going to lawyer up. So these guys apparently lawyered up and hired this law firm and had a bad experience. 0 stars. Do not recommend. Bad Yelp review. No, actually worse. Now, the two brothers themselves, though, were sued by the SEC in March. So this is that case. And they were charged with inflating fees. According to the SEC complaint, the brothers allegedly inflated the fees they charged clients and assessed a higher fee than the agreed amount. Netting them a total of just over $500,000, nearly over $500,000. So now they're also accused of misappropriating client funds to cover their lavish lifestyle, including jewelry, apparel, hotel stays, and reimbursing clients who complained about their misconduct in quote-unquote Ponzi-like payments. Okay. There you go. The misappropriated funds actually totaled at least $4.5 million and were obtained through account transfers using payment processing applications like PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle. The Kaplans had overseen a group of 277 clients, including friends, relatives, and unsophisticated investors. So now the SEC's lawsuit comes after the Kaplans were terminated by IHT Wealth Management for overbilling clients. Their Merrill Lynch terminations 3 years earlier were also due to client login credentials to access client accounts. That's what they were using. So, I mean, a little bit of a history of alleged fraud here. Again, overbilling without, their knowledge, breaking contract, things like that. So how ironic would it be then if Blanche and Cadwalader had done the same thing to these twins that these twins are accused to have been doing to other people? I mean, it's just, wow. Again, the case hasn't been adjudicated yet, so nobody's been found guilty. These are just lawsuits, or I'm sorry, not guilty. This isn't a criminal trial. It's liable. Okay. We're gonna have to see what happens on that. We don't know if the twins actually stole the money or not. That, you know, or I guess overcharging people. But basically, the entire situation here seems to be like a mess. Okay? Now, the Kaplan brothers, also in their lawsuit, alleged that their former attorneys are refusing to turn over the case file that they have, that is ongoing, to their new lawyers. So, somehow, the fact that Donald Trump's lawyer is now being accused of forgery and overbilling, it's kind of fitting, really. Remember, the thing, the big problem with Trump and keeping legal representation is the fact that he never seems to pay them. Okay? That's one of the reasons he cannot find anyone credible to represent him. They all know his history. They all know that he loves to stiff his lawyers, and you know, not the good way either.
Sexual anarchy.
And you're not getting paid for work you've done. Not a good thing. I mean, Rudy Giuliani, I hear he is still waiting for his money. He's going to be waiting for some time now. I don't know. Look, maybe, and again, this is all weirdo, fun speculation, and, you know, hyperbole, whatever. But maybe these guys thought, oh, man, Donald Trump is such a moron. Maybe we could pull a fast one on him, too. I mean, there's a good chance that we're probably not going to get paid anyway. So why don't we just maybe forge signatures and then get our money that way? Again, that's exactly what they're accused to have been doing previously. So, again, speculation, all allegations, we don't know. But it is absolutely hilarious and goes back to my statement that I made, again, when I spoke about his legal team essentially falling apart. What are you left with? When you're Donald Trump, no reputable lawyer, no credible lawyer wants to, work for you. So you're stuck hiring clown lawyers. You know, you have no other options. And just like this entire documents case, by the way, and this is the final irony, okay? His problems completely Trump made. Hey, he built that. Well, that's bringing back an old one. Self-inflicted wounds, always. Every time. Every time. Okay. Yeah, the law firm of Clown and Shoes. All right. Let's see. There's no such thing as a free lunch. At least that's the lesson that former President Donald Trump's supporters, aides, learned on Tuesday. Now, according to a report from Lindell of the Miami New Times, aides and supporters of Trump walked away hungry after a visit to the popular Versailles Cafe in Miami's Little Havana, following his arraignment on conspiracy and espionage act charges. So Trump had made this very highly publicized stop at this cafe after pleading not guilty before a Florida magistrate, where he was even serenaded by his fans, saying, "Happy birthday. Happy birthday." Now, that was the day before his birthday, and he proclaimed, quote, "food for everyone," to the cheering crowd. Now, normally, you know, when you say, "Hey, food for everybody," well, that generally means that the food's on you. You're paying for it. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe I don't quite understand. Maybe I don't understand, okay? Maybe I'm not getting it. Maybe for some reason, I think that when you say food for everyone, that means you're buying food for everyone, which would be a super nice, awesome thing to do. very, very generous, which apparently that's not Trump. I guess when he said food for everyone, it means, yeah, as long as you can, order it and pay for it yourself, then there's food for everyone. Well, there you go. As Doss of the Miami New Times reports, quote, it turns out no one got anything. Not even a cafecito to go. A knowledgeable source assures the New Times that Donald Trump's stop at Versailles totaled about 10 minutes, leaving no time for anyone to eat anything, much less place an order. Oops. Oh, because of course. Did anyone actually ever expect Donald Trump to pay for anyone else's meal? Has that ever happened in the history of Donald Trump? Guy doesn't even pay his own bills. Why would anyone expect him to pay for someone else? By the way, total irony. Right after this, after he left the cafe, Trump went to a fancy dinner with his donors, paid for by, you guessed it, his donors. According to NBC News, former President Donald Trump met privately with more than 24 top donors and supporters Tuesday night for a candlelight dinner at his golf course in Bedminster, New Jersey. To get a seat at the meal, supporters had to raise or donate $100,000 towards his 2024 run for the White House, according to invitations to the event. Donors, according to one of the attendees, were able to, for the price of, again, low price of $100,000, were able to snack on some of Donald Trump's favorite meals, including crab cakes and hamburgers, while sipping on wine and cocktails. So Donald Trump has this dinner. Food for everyone, right? And by everyone, I mean me, because you're paying for it. Right after promising food for everyone and delivering none of it. Look, I honestly, this is not a surprise to anybody, okay? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And yet there are still people out there, his supporters, that are still surprised. That they actually believe this for a minute, that, oh, Donald Trump's going to buy us lunch? Wow. And wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be a generous, awesome thing to do? That'd be great. But no. I still, part of me says I cannot quite believe how there are people out there that do not know that Donald Trump is a cheapskate. Now, I know the reason why. We all knew the reason why. Look, right-wing media never talks about how Donald Trump doesn't pay his lawyers, doesn't pay his legal fees, doesn't pay cities for providing security for his events. He didn't pay the Freedom Girls from his 2016 campaign. They ended up having to sue. Donald Trump has been in court so many times has been sued for non-payment. And yet, people don't know. Right wing, they never heard about Donald Trump being notoriously cheap. And again, it's all because mainly right-wing media just completely ignores it. Doesn't talk about it whatsoever. And by the way, there are some people who have heard some things about Donald Trump, for example, not paying his taxes, right? But they think, genius move. Oh, you didn't pay your taxes? Genius. Wait, when he doesn't pay his taxes and when rich people don't pay their taxes, well, that means the tax burden gets shifted onto you, onto regular working people. So he's actually costing you money, costing you more. Just saying. That said, I think a lot of the people there were probably very surprised to find out that Donald Trump was lying and that he was indeed not paying for everyone's meal. But see, that's what you get from Donald Trump. Empty promises. He promises things like, the wall, for example, but never delivers. I mean, the wall, as I mentioned, never built, not a brick, Mexico didn't pay a cent. But the one thing he did deliver is for the people that actually mattered to him. And just like this story, where he goes to his donors, what he did for his donors and why they're okay with paying $100,000 for a seat to eat some crab cakes, you know, with Donald Trump, is because the one victory he had was cutting taxes for himself and the donors in the room, the millionaires, the billionaires, the giant corporations. And he was able to do that permanently. He made the Bush tax cuts permanent for the rich. Oh, sure, you got some other tax cuts, ostensibly for the middle class. But guess what? Those have a sunset provision. But the ones for the rich, never. They'll always be in effect until they are repealed. And that's it. That's who Donald Trump is. That's what he cares about. Only helping himself at the expense of others. His crowds usually cheered when he talked about never paying his contractors. Man of the working people. Yeah. So it's so amazing that there are people out there that actually think Donald Trump represents me, the average working man. He's just like me. No, he wouldn't. You got to understand, he wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. Waste of water, very, very weak. You should just burn. And it's very, very dirty.
Where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it.
You could never handle it anyway. He would never lift a finger to help any average working class person. And it, I just don't. I know the reason why, but I just can't wrap my head around it. Why anyone would believe a damn word that he says. Unless, again, he is being honest about him wanting to help himself. Because that's it. He might throw some paper towels when you're on fire. Oh you can. Yeah. Probably. Well, maybe he might, add a little
Wind.
wind. Little wind. Wind. Okay. Moving on. Let's have a little fun here. Let's go to Pillow Talk.
God gave me this platform. I already know I'm going to win. China did our vote. Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign. Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't.
Just forget about the evidence. This was attacked.
MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell was almost arrested on Wednesday. Oh, drama. Now, this was during a court appearance in which he was actually trying to get his cell phone back. Okay, so let me give you some details on that, just in case you might have forgotten or you hadn't heard about it. Mike's cell phone was seized last year in connection to an election interference case in Colorado. And he's pretty mad about it, understandably so. I wouldn't be happy if the FBI rolled up and took my phone. Not because I have anything bad in it, because I wouldn't have my phone anymore. Now, the FBI had seized Lindell's cell phone at a Hardee's fast food drive-thru in Mankato, Minnesota on September 13th, 2022. So imagine trying to order something and then having the FBI roll up and take your phone. Now, he said he'd just come back from a duck hunting trip in Iowa when agents questioned him and took his company-issued phone. He then sued roughly about a week later, and, he might actually win this case, weirdly enough. And let me give you the reason why, okay? So now, at least 2 of the 3-member judge panel appeared skeptical about the government's retention of Lindell's cell phone since last September. His attorney, Patrick Sweeney, also made the argument that the government tried to intimidate the client because of his quote-unquote beliefs. Which beliefs? I mean, which one would they have a problem with? The whole election denial stuff, perhaps? But hey, it's not illegal to believe in that stuff. I mean, you can believe all the insane conspiracy theories you want. I don't think that that should be illegal. Now, if you're actually trying to interfere in elections as a result of believing in insane things, well, that's a different story. And yeah, Mike Pillow might have actually interfered in some, or tried to interfere in some elections, or at least involved with the whole, Tina Peters thing. But anyway, so that's why the government took his phone. Now, one of the judges, though, noted that, hey, look, that phone, it's not contraband, so it's not illegal to have. And if you need the information on it, they said, quote, it could be mirrored in 12 seconds. So mirroring, of course, it just basically making a complete copy of everything on the phone and then sending it back. There you go. In fact, the judge asked, why isn't that something that should have happened months ago? I think that's a fair question, to be honest. Now, the Department of Justice, of course, made some counter-arguments, saying that such an order would be an extraordinary remedy, which would remove an important piece of evidence from an ongoing investigation. But if you already have the information extracted from the phone, then why would you need the actual phone? Again, if you have the copy of everything on it, what would be the point of actually keeping the physical device? I'm just saying. But anyway, now the government attorney argued the phone can be important in a criminal case to authenticate that a particular person was holding the phone at a particular time. Okay, it's not a bad argument. They also did say that certain evidence can only be gleaned by physical possession of the phone. But wait, again, wouldn't you have tools as the government to be able to get that information without needing to physically possess the phone? So, I mean, we all know that you had the phone and that you had to have made copies by now of everything that's inside of it, decrypted it. It's not like they don't have the technology or the ability to do so. The data is the evidence here. The physical phone, I don't see why they couldn't just give his phone back. And look, I clown on Mike Pillow all the time, but just give the guy his phone back. It's fine. It's fine. But look, that's not at all related to why he nearly got in trouble, by the way. No, he's going to basically tell Steve Bannon this on Thursday on his War Room podcast that why he nearly got arrested. Take a look.
Mike, we left you yesterday. You were about to be arrested again in federal court for video for live streaming into War Room. What happened yesterday?
Well, I did get reprimanded for that in the hallway there by the live streaming from the federal courthouse. But we were in there, Steve. It went great.
Oh, you were trying to live stream at a courthouse. Oops. Hey, but I got reprimanded. I almost got arrested, but it went great. Otherwise, stupid.
You idiot.
Dude, if you know that cameras are not allowed in the courtroom, why did you think that you could live stream from a courtroom? I don't understand. Or I should say courthouse. Let's be clear. It's a courthouse. Okay, so not actually in the actual courtroom, but still, you shouldn't be live streaming from a courthouse. Now, do I think that anybody should be arrested from that? No, for that. No, of course not. I think it's a dumb reason to arrest somebody for wanting to live stream. You just, cut off their internet access or their phone access, or you take the phone until they're done and then you give it back. Have them check their phones before they get into the courthouse. I mean, that seems like a very simple solution here. Again, it's also dumb, though, to try to stream to a political podcast while you were there to sue to get your phone back. This entire thing, it's more a political publicity stunt than anything. And I'm honestly, which is exactly why I think that Mike was trying to do it. I mean, come on. The guy's all about trying to get more exposure, making headlines so that he can spread insane conspiracy theories. And maybe, I don't know, get people to continue to buy his pillows? Anything, I guess, to keep up the grift and to get him more attention. We can't bring phones to the courthouse, period. I haven't been to a courthouse in a very long time, since jury duty. And that's been a very, very long time. Okay. So I can't remember if I had to check my phone or not. Was there a promo code in his live stream? Probably. I think he was actually streaming from the courthouse to Steve Bannon's show. So, yeah, because of course. All right. Anyway, let's move on. And, yeah, we'll talk about some very disturbing Fox headlines. Fox News was forced to change a headline on its website after being called out for blatant transphobia by the White House. So I'm going to show you a tweet here of an article that was originally titled, get this, White House flew controversial new trans flag that promotes grooming and pedophilia, say critics. Wow. Okay, so again, super disturbing. One of the most fake news headlines headlines I've ever seen. Straight up trash. And the person who wrote that ought to be ashamed of themselves, but of course they're not. So now the article itself contained statements from people like Jamie Mitchell, who, if you don't know, is the founder of the Gays Against Groomers. She told the outlet, and was quoted in the piece, "The flag represents to us an ideology, a political statement of indoctrinating kids and trans kids and pushing kids to sterilize and mutilate themselves." No, nobody's pushing cisgender children to do any of that stuff. In fact, look, gender affirming care does not involve mutilation. Okay? Anything like that. So now surgeries are not allowed generally for people under 18, for minors. Okay? So again, let's get that out of the way. Complete and utter falsehoods. Okay? None of that is true. Now, the piece also cited a now removed TikTok video by the founder of Black Guns Matter, who just, again, went out and just said it. He called it, quote unquote, a pedophile flag. I mean, there it is. Openly hostile, openly transphobic, falsely conflating and tying pedophilia with being transgender. Again, there's absolutely no link between those two things at all. They're just using the most extremist false rhetoric against members of the LGBTQ plus community. And I find it completely ironic that you have a group that, claims, oh, we're gays against groomers. And yet they're using the exact same false arguments against the trans community that were used against the gay community not much further before in time. So you go back 20, 30 years, and they were using that smear against gay people. No, the fact is that your children are far safer around a trans person than they are with a priest, pastor, especially of the Catholic variety. But again, this can apply to all religions. Safer with a drag queen, again, and a trans person than with a right-wing politician, for example, with someone like Roy Moore, who used to allegedly go to the malls and creep on 14-year-olds. Safer than with people like Dennis Hastert. Okay? Safer with a trans person than someone like that, who, again, is a Republican pedophile. Literal pedophile. Again, the vast majority of abusers to children are heterosexual males. Okay? That's according to data, numbers, facts. We know this. Statistics. What this is against the trans community is modern satanic panic. That's it. That's it. Just a modification of rhetoric they've used against the gay community decades and decades ago, for decades. So, now the author of the Fox report, Carrie J. Byrne, had also shared a now-deleted post using language from the original headline, which had caught the attention of the White House. Specifically, White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates, who got fired up. So now he fired back in a tweet linking the writer's post and accused Fox News of lying to his office about the foundation of the article itself when it had sought a White House response. Remember, this was about, again, the White House hanging up an LGBTQ pride flag, which again included trans people, black people, and then people, black and brown people, as well as people who had died from the AIDS epidemic and HIV back in the 80s and 90s, as a result of course, bigoted policies passed by the Reagan administration. And so they essentially ignored that entire thing and called it the gay disease. So the absolute horrifying ghouls. That's all those people are. But anyway, I mean, Ronald Reagan, I think where a lot of our problems started. Other than, of course, the conservative courts back in the day. But anyway, now, in his response, Bates referenced Fox News' $787.5 million defamation settlement, which showed that Fox hosts had lied to their audience members knowingly. So it seems like they never learned, because right now they're still lying. This time, again, about transgender people. Here's what Bates wrote. Fox never even communicated the malicious and discredited foundation of this article to the White House. Then they lie about whether we responded at all. In a follow-up tweet, Bates included a screenshot of the email Byrne sent to the White House. The email does not mention that the article would focus on criticism of the flag by right-wing groups, hate groups, and offers the White House no chance to respond to the critics. Following Bates' tweets, Fox adjusted the headline to read, White House flew controversial new transgender flag that troubles some critics in the gay community. First off, there's nothing controversial about this flag. Trans people, not pedophiles, not groomers. Second of all, this flag is actually not even new. It was created by Daniel Quasar back in 2018 to be more inclusive, adding in the trans community, as well as communities of color, and again, honoring those who have been lost in the HIV/AIDS crisis in the 80s and 90s. The updated version of the article also added a White House statement that the Progress Pride flag had been displayed by the administration for the last 3 years. The article added that the administration did not respond to Fox News' digital requests for comment on the flag's design and meaning. So, now, Fox News already knows the real meaning of this flag, but what they're doing is they're wading into the right-wing culture wars against so-called wokeness. And that's what it is. Okay? Now, I have evidence, though, that Fox News itself, has been woke all along.
Woke.
That image is from Fox News's 2022 Corporate Social Responsibility Report. And there it is. I mean, you can see it. It's right there. Fox News literally using that very flag that now they're putting up articles claiming that, it's pedophiles and groomers. No, what they're trying to do is have it both ways. Appeasing advertisers who want to sell more products, okay, to people. Again, that includes trans people, gay people, all members of the LGBTQI+ community. It seems like, again, they want to sell. They want to sell stuff, okay? But while doing that, they also, want to appease members of their incredibly hateful, bigoted base that have jumped all onto this anti-trans rights, which, again, is turning off the vast majority of the American people and leading to electoral losses. And yet they continue to double down on this because double, triple, quadruple, whatever, because they don't have anything else. They don't really have any sort of criticisms here, real criticisms that they can use. But it gets better. I'm going to show you or tell you about some correspondence that a Fox reporter had with Andrew Bates. So now this was Patrick Hoff of Fox News Digital. Bates went off when Hoff asked him for comment about an unrelated story involving hot Cheetos. What a weird thing to reach out to the White House for. But anyway, in a series of emails with this Fox reporter, Bates asked, on the record from me, will Fox News retract their hateful debunked lie of a story, or will they issue a statement condemning themselves for covering their own logo in literally the same flag? Which is it? Hoff replied, quote, are you able to address any of my questions? Would you like to provide a comment relevant to my story about the hot Cheetos? Happy to hop on a call. Thanks. Oh, he added, otherwise I will take that email as a no comment on my questions. Thank you. Bates responded with, I discourage lying, but I also understand it's a tradition there. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's real good. Hoff then replied, we're happy to add a statement from you if you address my questions. Again, feel free to call. Thank you. In a parting shot, which I think is great, Bates said, quote, you have our statement. Yesterday, Fox News accused of us promoting pedophiles and groomers for flying a civil rights flag that has absolutely no connection to either. But which Fox News chose to wrap itself in a year ago? Will the story be withdrawn? Or will Fox News be criticizing itself? Well, I mean, that would not be unheard of to see Fox News wrap itself into pretzels over this. Again, in order to get that sweet, sweet advertising money. And also trying to make sure that their viewers stay with them because they're promoting the hate and the fear and the bigotry that they have come to crave. Now, of course, Bates received no response because, of course. And Fox News, they thought they could tweak the headline, but keep the, article intact. I don't think it's good enough, though. I think that's really cowardly and pretty ridiculous for Fox News. Again, trying to... Okay, so here's the thing. If you're going to be a hateful bigot, which I hope you're not, but you might as well just stick by it. You know? And don't try to do this mealy mouth kind of like, ooh, well, we're just going to change the headline and hope people are stupid enough to not pay attention. No. We're not going to buy that. And that looks worse for you in the long run. Because then, now the right wing's going to come after you. Oh, how dare you? How dare you? No, I hope you don't win either way. I hope Fox News loses both. Because they deserve it for doing what they're doing and pushing this just outrageous, horrible lie about the trans community, about the LGBTQ community itself. It is dangerous. It's dangerous. And by the way, it's not just dangerous towards that community. Painting trans people as pedophiles and groomers, that actually harms children who are being or at risk of being abused. The majority of abuse to children happens among people who have access to the child, okay? For example, a family member or an uncle or a father, if not, immediate family, then somebody who's trusted by members of that family to have access to the child. So a good example is a priest or a pastor, in some cases even a teacher, a neighbor, etc. Okay? Now, when you distract people with from who the real predators are by falsely labeling a group, the LGBTQI plus community, for example, as predators, you're covering for the real predators. That's what you're doing. You are hurting children. You're not just hurting trans children, but you're hurting children who are being, again, preyed upon by actual pedophiles and actual groomers. But unfortunately, there seems to be quite a few people who fall into that camp that are also on the right. And haven't been canceled either. Oh, no. Oh, no, not at all. Milo Yiannopoulos, great example. Great example. So it really makes you wonder, though, why certain people online, Tim Pool, Matt Walsh, libs of TikToks, Hierarchic, why are they pushing this lie so hard about the groomers and the pedophiles? Why are they pushing that so hard? Maybe they want to distract from what they're doing. I'm not saying they're pedophiles, but you could make a good argument that there might be some grooming going on. I don't think it's just about money. I think they're losing out politically from doing this. It's turning off just so many people. And again, it's losing them elections. I don't get it. It's a loser all around. Okay. Anyway. Moving on, let's get to the last story here. Following the indictment of former President Donald Trump on 37 counts related to illegally retaining documents at Mar-a-Lago, government documents, classified documents, Republicans have sought to distract everyone by pushing an allegation that President Biden has taken bribes from a foreign country in exchange for certain favors. Okay. So now, they claimed that there could be an audio tape floating around of Joe Biden admitting to taking bribes, specifically a $5 million bribe from a Ukrainian official. That said, Republicans are talking about this. Oh, well, there's a tape, and then admitting we don't actually know if that tape's real, or if it actually exists. So now, earlier this week, Senator Chuck Grassley went on the floor and claimed that the FBI had allegedly received a tip in 2020 about a foreign national who, again, allegedly paid Biden $5 million, which seems like a really low amount of money for a bribe of a vice president of the United States of America. Those are rookie numbers. You might want to up that. Okay. Now, that national claimed to, again, have 17 recordings of himself speaking to both Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. I think 15 times with Hunter, 2 times with Joe when he was vice president. Now, so if that exists, that would be a damning piece of evidence. Again, it doesn't seem to be real at all, and Republicans have been forced to basically admit that they cannot verify it.
So I want to ask you first, Senator, do you think they exist? And if yes, how to obtain them?
We don't know. And, Senator Grassley has never said they exist. He just said that there's an FBI report on a confidential human source, and that confidential human source says that the person we were talking to said that he taped. He recorded 17 times, 15 times with Hunter, twice with Joe Biden, but we don't know. But
when will you be able to confirm if these recordings are legit? How long is that going to take?
Well, I can confirm that the recordings were in the 1023. Remember, I was with Senator Grassley when we saw the unredacted version.
Okay, so because Grassley was saying alleged yesterday, so these recordings are legit. You can confirm they are legitimate.
Well, they were. I can confirm they were listed in the 1023 that the FBI redacted. We don't know if they're legit or not, but we know that the foreign national claims he has them.
Okay, so when can you confirm that they're legit? Because if they're legit,
I never looked into it. This is the problem. The FBI never investigated this.
We don't know for sure if these tapes exist. If they do, and they say what Senator Grassley has said that he thinks they're gonna say, then I think that's a different animal.
We got nothing. Nada bupkis. So that last one was Representative Jim Jordan, by the way, and then you had James Comer, Ron Johnson, all like, we can't confirm anything. I mean, we can confirm that the guy says that they've made it, but he hasn't actually, presented anything. It doesn't actually have. We've never even listened to the tape. We've never heard anything like that. He just says that we have that they made it a recording. That's it. So, now there's more. Let's see. So, Johnson also said, quote, "We don't know whether this was just a bluff on the part of whoever the executive was. I think it was Mykola Zlochevsky, the CEO of the corrupt oligarchs." So that's what he said. Now, here's the thing. During a oversight committee hearing on Wednesday, Representative Dan Goldman, a Democrat from New York, talked about Zlochevsky and said that he had reportedly said in 2019 that he had absolutely no contact with Joe Biden. So that's, again, testifying, right? Now, Goldman told HuffPost after the hearing, quote, "The issue here is there any connection to President Biden? They have provided zero actual evidence to that effect. And yet they are smearing him with innuendo and debunked allegations to try to create the impression that then Vice President Biden did anything wrong." Well, yes, that's exactly what they're doing. They don't have anything real. And again, what would be the point of taking a $5 million bribe? Again, you already know that it's illegal when you're the vice president, and why such a small amount? It would make no sense. Do you know how much money a vice president would get just to give speeches? Lots of money. It would take not that many speeches. Just go and do like a bunch of speeches at colleges and wherever. Go do speeches to corporations. It doesn't matter, right? You could make $5 million as a vice president like that. Easy peasy. 100% legal. It makes no sense. No sense. It's such a stupidly small amount of money that any intelligent, wealthy person would think, you want to do crime for that? $5 million? What are you, stupid? Are you dumb? You idiot. Yeah, because that's exactly what they are. The people that are making these allegations without any sort of evidence. Look, this essentially is George Santos levels of crime. Super amateur. Super. It doesn't make any sense at all. Which is, again, why, by the way, why Republicans are shifting their argument. And so, Oh, yeah, I mean, did Joe Biden get a bribe? I mean, there's some allegations out there that he got bribed by Biden crime family, but we don't really know. We don't have any evidence of that. But the real question is, did the FBI investigate it? Investigate what? If you don't have any evidence to investigate and just have random accusations, well, what's to investigate there? I mean, honestly. But, what they're trying to do is that they're trying to continue to play up the delusion that the FBI is persecuting Trump supporters, specifically targeting them. Now, that's not reality. The FBI does not go after the right wing. Okay? They don't go after the establishment. They go after, historically, anti-capitalist, socialist, communists, anyone who threatens the current economic and political hierarchy, which favors the wealthy and powerful. And I hate to tell you, or maybe I don't, that's not Republicans. No, Republicans are, again, Republicans and Democrats, let's be fair, they love the status quo. The status quo, they're all about it because they benefit the most from the status quo. And so there's just, again, it boggles the mind that anyone would think that the FBI, who, again, also is part of the status quo, would be weaponized against people who fight so hard to uphold the status quo. Doesn't make any sense. Nobody can seem to come up with a really good argument for it either. And the reason that, again, we do see the FBI looking into Republicans more happens to be the fact that Republicans seem to be doing more crime. That might be it. Not really a coincidence. You do more crime, and you tend to get more, more attention of the police, law enforcement. Who knew? Well, they didn't, because historically, as I mentioned again, the right is kind of used to getting away with crime because of being rich and powerful. They're basically citing what was likely a ploy to attack Biden in an election as a ploy to hurt Biden for re-election, the only recycling Republicans liked. Yeah, again, this is, it is political. Of course, there's never going to be any charges because there's really nothing there. It's just all political fodder to, rile up people who already do not like Biden, who do not like Democrats, to, get them to turn out. It's really stupid, cynical, but also dangerous for democracy. Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I got today. Let me read some super chats in a minute here. Let's go over to YouTube. Gabby Mathis, thank you for the very kind 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate that. Gabby, you're amazing, as always. April Craren says, thank you for my gifted membership. I'm living in my minivan. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So I appreciate the gift more than you know. I really, really hope your situation improves. Just stay strong. I really, really hope things turn out for you better soon, and you get back on your feet. Gabby also says, might not be here tomorrow, so my gift to you in advance. And once again, my membership chat won't go through. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. YouTube is YouTube. I have no idea. But thank you for the very kind super chat as well, Gabby, and the very kind gifted memberships. Appreciate that. LL says, ridiculously low amount of money for bribing a VP. Reminds me of when Dr. Evil asked for $1 million. Is that a good impression? Seems pretty terrible, but then again, Thank you, Elwell. I appreciate that. Let's go over here to Twitch. Let's see. Thank you for the new follows over on Twitch. Appreciate that. Mean says if they had evidence during his time as VP, he would have been impeached and or removed as VP. Ravaging Wolverine says, I want to believe Ron Johnson. Probably. James Comerhurst, the new Devin Nunes. He just needs a cow to fight with on Twitter. All right. Okay. Well, that's all I've got. Once again, thank you for going around the nation with me today. Really, really appreciate you all. Love you. Be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Yeah, love you all. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, everybody. Have a great day.
I have not loved this conversation. Who's got a hammer?
Woke mob.
Just forget about the other. Whoa. Can't let that happen. I like my meat tight. Tighten up my meat.
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
USA, USA, USA.